All right, everybody, welcome to this second VIROO webinar that we are doing. My name is Alberto Carlier. I'm VIROO Product Marketing Manager at Retailware. And I don't know if you have the chance to see the first webinar that we've done last month, where I started from scratch. I explained what VIROO platform is, what exactly can provide to your organization. Basically, I demonstrate some of the VIROO apps that we have, but today we're going to get a little bit deeper, right? First, what I'm going to do, I'm going to showcase 4 VIROO ready-to-use apps that we have. And then I'm going to jump into Unity, into VIROO Studio, to show how easy it is to create this kind of applications if you invest some time. So I'm looking at the chat now. So if you have any questions, please reach me from the chat. I'll be probably focus on showing you Unity, but at the end of the season, or maybe if I have a chance to look at the chat before, there's John, also my colleague here in the chat, so he could probably can answer some questions. But please let me know any doubts that you may have. This is like live demonstration, so you can interact with me. Please don't hesitate to do that, and if you still have some doubts, you can always reach us after the webinar. These webinars are going to be later uploaded to our YouTube channel. In this case, you can see our YouTube channel here, where we find you can find all the videos of the VIROO apps that we have, all the different features that are being introduced into VIROO, and then here you can see the latest webinar that I've done last month. So if you don't have the chance to join today, you can always go to the YouTube channel and see it later. Okay, so we have like 45 minutes, so let's jump right away. The first thing I want to show you, as I said before, is in the last session, I showed you some of the VIROO apps, but only the videos, right? We have like VIROO ready-to-use apps. Again, what is VIROO? VIROO is an XR platform that is going to allow you to run ready-to-use XR apps or create your custom developed applications that will fit your tailor or bespoke needs, right? So today I'm going to showcase Simumatic, which is a really cool integration that we've done last year. We have applications like design review, like emergency clinical case, which we are going to see today. We have like VIROO Anatomy, Civil Works, Cooking School, Design Thinking, many use cases that are probably common in many industries and sectors. So whenever we find like a really use case for XR, we try to develop an application that fits those needs. And if you are one of the clients that may find it useful, you can always purchase a license and you can just start using VIROO right away. What happens if you don't find any app that is already being developed that fits your needs? You can always go to Unity and develop your own content, which I'm going to later explain, okay? So let me know if you can hear me well. If everything goes wrong, I can probably fix it live, but let's showcase one of the applications. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the single player. This is a desktop Windows applications that we have that is going to allow me to create sessions and join already existing sessions that may be taking place all across the globe. So this is going to allow me to run these apps and jump into a multi-user, multi-device environment that is running in our platform. Okay, the good thing about VIROO is that all the complexity of the networking and the multi-device compatibility is going to be just managed by the platform. So you don't have to worry about that. You just worry about selecting the correct app or developing your custom app and upload it to the cloud, so it's going to later work. So the thing is that if I want to start a new session, I need to go here. I'm going to select new session. I have selected the anatomy human body. These are all the apps that are included in our own private cloud, but you can purchase or create the content that you may want. I'm going to select anatomy human body because I think it's a really cool one to start. So if the content is already installed in my device, it's going to check it and it's going to check that it's up to date. But if maybe a colleague of me in Virtualware has made some changes to the app and is going to be uploaded to the cloud, my computer is going to detect those changes and is going to download always the latest version of the app. In that case, whenever all people across the globe jump into the session, the system is going to check that everyone has the later version of the app and everyone is going to be looking at the same thing. That's a really important thing, and that's one of the complex things to manage, and the platform solves for itself, okay? So whenever I press play, I can select if I want to join using the keyboard and mouse or if I want to use a VR headset. This is always hard to do live, but I'm going to try to demonstrate this as good as I can. So in this case, I have here my VR headset. Let's go into full screen now. And I'm going to select VR headset. I'm going to put on my Quest so that you can see that there's no trick here. I need to connect. I'm going to put the volume down. I need to connect to my computer, and then just in a couple of minutes, let me check this. I'm going to press play and I should be up and running. So I'm using a laptop, I'm running SteamVR, I'm running Unity, I'm sharing live my screen. So the laptop is not the most powerful computer in the world. So depending on the application that you are running, you are going to see that it takes a little bit of time to load, but in this case, it should just run fine. In this case, I'm going to jump right into full screen mode so as you can see all the app, and this is going to be a really cool one. I'm going to turn on the volume, and as you can see, let's get the controllers right away. And this is one of the values of XR. Right now I feel like I have teleported to this environment. I can see in a one-to-one scale I have total freedom of movement with the controllers. I can manipulate things in a really cool way. I can move around. I can even walk around my house if I want to, but I don't have much space here, so we just move around using the joystick. And then I'm going to select the language here.
Hello and welcome to VIROO Anatomy Atlas. You can stand on one of the circles on the floor to begin the experience.
So as you can expect, this is like an anatomy app that is going to allow me to see the human body and interact with it. I have some circles here in the floor, so whenever I jump inside,
you can use the menu on the stand to visualize the different layers of the human body.
And as you can see, I have here the human body. I have the different parts, and I can start moving around. I can point with my controller and I can start selecting different organs and systems inside the body. So this is a really new way to learn, guys. This is amazing. Seeing this in a one-to-one scale, because I'm sitting now, I sense the height of the model, but if I put myself up, I'm a small person, so the model is still taller than me, but this is a really cool way because I can just jump inside the human body and see it with a really good detail here. I can move around, I can activate some of the systems here, different parts, different organs, and as you can imagine, this is a really cool way to engage people, to allow them to learn knowledge and concepts in a really new way. So even I have here multimedia that I can read, I can show videos or images, whatever kind of material that I may want. And if I go to the other circle here, I will see the other human body. In this case, this is the male one. And again, I can start just selecting different system, the muscles, the skeleton part. I have to deactivate the muscles here. You see the difference in height. I can look around. Let's start adding some really interesting organs here. And again, I never get tired of looking at things this way. I can even look inside the heart, different elements, and I can move around. As you can see, this is a really cool app. And again, this has been made with VIROO Studio. No coding required, so everyone that jumps into VIROO and doesn't know how to code can use our predefined components to create content like this. So allow me to change now to another application, but it's going to be really interesting as well, but focus on another kind of sector. So in this case, I'm going to stop the session. I'm going to select a different content here, and allow me to go to the Civil Works app. I love this one. You're going to see that this is totally different application for another sector. I'm going to press play again, and you can see how easy it is to jump from map to map. You just need to select it from the list. Those contents are hosted in your private cloud, and whenever you create a session, it's going to appear here in the list, and everyone inside your organization will be able to just press play and join you in the session. So this is really, really cool. This is a more complex app, so it has like a small brief introduction, but I think it's worthwhile to see it because you can see the different applications that you have. And this is another good thing of XR because you can turn off the volume a little bit for a while. You can apply XR for many steps inside your value chain of your company. It can be for training, it can be for marketing, it can be for design and prototyping. So there's many uses that you can give it. Let's jump right in to see how it works. Let's select English.
Welcome to the VIROO Engineering Simulator, in which we will explain the building construction process. Right now, you are in what will be the future square of the urbanization. Here, two identical buildings are going to be constructed. As you can see, the land where they are going to be built is land with a high percentage of rock. We begin the foundation process. The foundation's primary purpose is to distribute the loads it receives from the efforts of the structure and transmit them to the ground, utilizing calculated surfaces appropriate to the type of soil on which it is supported.
Let's continue.
The choice of the foundation is essential, and to make the right decision, you must know the ground's resistance very well. In our case, we are on a rocky terrain. Given this information, which of these two options suits this terrain type?
And this is the good thing about the XR. It's so intuitive. It's so amazing to be immersed in this kind of environments that even that I have no knowledge about this. Whenever you do this kind of applications, the whole process like 1, 2, 3 times, you internalize those contents and you learn concepts really fast. So you start to know things that you haven't before, and that it's way harder in order with traditional methods. So as you can see how it builds in real time.
Once the footing is placed, we will proceed to construct the structure composed of pillars, beams, and slabs. In this case, the structure will be reinforced concrete.
Let's see how it goes. This is a really cool animation where you see how the building is taking shape, all the different ceilings, the floors, the columns, the stairs. And there are detailed buildings here.
Now that we have the structure, we will access a point inside the building together.
And this is the really cool part. Just wait.
We are inside the building and will start with creating the different facilities. But first, we will assemble the partition.
Look at the textures here, the quality of the 3D models, how they are building in real time.
Use this menu to interact between the different levels of this building.
And this is a great thing. I can have a sense of how a building takes shape, how the different materials apply to the building, how it works, how different things you must be considered in order when you are building this kind of construction. So I can go to the different level here and I can activate the electricity, the network, even bathrooms, and the plumbing, the elevators, and I can show if I want to see the walls or not, and even the air conditioning. As you can see, I have a sense of scale. I cannot reach the ceiling because I'm just a little bit small. So let's go to the last floor here, and I can even change how the office looks. So I can just select the color of the walls. I'm going to select blue, which is one of my favorite colors, and I'm going to select carpet because I think it's a little bit cold here in Spain. So it gives me a sense of warmth that I really need right now. So let's jump to the other sector. And here I can start really applying some cool concepts, such as measuring. So if I want, I can take highly precise measuring inside VR. So I have here the layout of the building, but in order to just start measuring myself in this one-to-one scale environment, I can just activate this function here. And if I want to, I can press the button, start moving my controller, and I can have like exact precision measure of my environment. As you can see, this is really cool. I can move around, or you can change the interior, and I can start taking measures to see if some of the furniture will fit in this space, or whatever thing I want to construct later. As you can see, the height of the ceiling. And let's jump to another app. Again, I will take a look at the questions when I remove my headset. I just want to show you 2 more apps, and then we will jump right away into VIROO Studio to show you how to create these amazing apps. Let's select the third one. In this case, I'm going to select here, just let me go, just one moment. I'm with my headset on, so it's a little hard to me to reach it. This is a really cool place. This is the emergency clinical place. This is one of the most complex that we have, because it's a full process, and this is tailor-made for 2 people at the same time. So normally you will need 2 people interacting with themselves in order to achieve or complete this app, but we have managed a method so people can learn and can use this content without having to depend on another colleague inside the organization. But you can see that this is meant to be used in a multi-user environment. This is one of my favorites, so let's jump right in. Again, one of the good things about this is that all the apps that you have seen here, they are not made by programmers. They are made by just the 3D model, the animators, or the designers that just started using VIROO Studio, our no-code system, and were able to create these amazing content. So let's jump right into the demonstration. I'm going to select, as you can see, it's meant to be, again, for 2 people at the same time, but I'm going to start by selecting the nursing staff.
Hello! Welcome to VIROO Emergency Room. A 20-year-old man has just arrived. He reports an upper respiratory infection or cold with 3 days of evolution and fatigue in the last 24 hours. You have 10 minutes to perform the primary and secondary evaluations. Let's get started.
Okay, I have here all the details. I have even some tips here of what I need to do. So the first thing I need to do, the nursing staff needs to connect the oxygen. So in this case, I'm going to connect it. The step is done. I'm going to check the monitor here. And then I'm going to go to the next step. I'm going to check the airway, but this needs to be done by the medical staff. So I'm going to change to the medical staff here. And let's do that. I need to check the airway. So in this case, let's check the airway here. Okay, let's see, everything seems normal. And then we are going to connect this mask. I need to scroll first. This is one of the great things about XR, right? That I can grab and manipulate every object as I will do it in real life. So in this case, you probably are not going to hear it, but whenever I get close here, I can hear the beating of the heart. Okay, now the step has been done, and I need to connect the mask. This is going to be done by the nursing staff. I can change it again, and then I will grab the mask. Again, really cool way to interact within. Everything that you are seeing, again, has been done without having to know how to code at all. So then I'm going to select like the correct amount of milliliters of medicine that I need to apply. I have here the syringe, and then I connect it. So I'm not going to follow all these steps, but you can see how it is a step-by-step process. I need to complete one step before jumping on to another. This is a really high detail environment with all the people inside. And once I finish, it's going to give me and prompt me with the results. And I'm learning every time I'm doing it. So whenever I need to do this in real life, I'm going to remember every step that I need to accomplish, and more people can be safe. So let's jump into the latest example. This is a really cool one. In this case, I'm going to remove the headset. I'm going to do it just in the 2D environment, because this is a little bit hard to do it by myself if I wanted to do in VR, because I'm going to show you Simumatic. So what exactly Simumatic is? Simumatic is an emulation platform that is going to allow me to simulate or emulate, per se, different industrial machinery that it takes place in a factory, and I can emulate the behavior exactly how they will behave in real life, so I can predict things before even putting that machine inside the factory. So this is really cool. This is an integration we've done in the past year, into 2024, and we were so impressed by the results that Virtualware even acquired Simumatic and now is part of Virtualware, and we've developed an VIROO app that allows Simumatic to be playable in VR in a multi-user environment. This is something that you can always do. If you already have a product, you have an application that is being made with Unity or even with other graphic engine, this VIROO app, Simumatic, or Simumatic platform uses OpenGL, you can always probably find a way to integrate that into VIROO and just establish a connection. So maybe your application is just mono-user, but it will be multi-user and multi-device compatible inside VIROO. So this is the Simumatic platform, and if I want to load a 3D model of a factory demo, I just press load. It's downloaded and it's connecting to a PLC in real time to show me all the machinery. It's loading all the 3D models with this graphic engine that the system has, and then we are going to see the results in VIROO. This is really amazing. I have now the full machinery here. I'm going to run the emulation, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to single player. I'm going to select the Simumatic app that we have developed, and I'm going to start a session. Again, the process is always the same. It's just selecting the app, pressing play to start a session, and then I have an ID that I can share with my colleagues so everyone can join. In this case, I'm going to join using the keyboard and mouse, but this will be playable in VR. We even have videos about it in our website, and VIROO is even compatible with mixed reality. So if you have a headset that has pass-through cameras like the HTC Vive Focus Vision, you can select what parts of the elements are going to be visible and maybe abstract yourself from the rest of the elements and see your real environment. So if you are in a place where many colleagues around you, you can always focus on the 3D model of the machinery, and the rest is going to be your real office. And this is really cool. So let's jump right in. What is happening here is it's going to run the VIROO app Simumatic, and it's going to connect in real time with the emulation that is taking place here in the web, in the Simumatic platform. And you are going to see when I jump into the content is how it's going to load the content in real time, and whenever I apply changes in the emulation platform, they are going to be represented in the VIROO app and vice versa. Those can even be connected to a real machinery inside a factory. So this is really, really cool. It has a lot of potential. I'm going to join as host, and as you can see, I can start moving around. The session has started, and you can see this is really cool how it's loading every 3D model in real time. And now I can start moving around. We can even take advantage of the Unity engine, and you can see even the graphics are better just by using VIROO, because this is all using just OpenGL, and you can see there's no shadows, almost no reflections. And then when using VIROO, you have like a more detail, even using the same 3D elements. So the good thing about this, again, I'm going to start the emulation here. I'm going to drop let me move a little bit so you can see what is going to happen here. I can drop a product here, and you're going to see that product that is already appearing in the VIROO app. Again, this could be a real machinery that is in a factory connected to a PLC that is sending all the data to the emulation platform and is being represented in a VR environment, multi-user environment, and multi-device inside VIROO. This means that I'm joining now using my regular laptop with my keyboard and mouse, but I could be joined with 20 other more people. Some of them will be using the VR headset, their laptops, and we even have included voice chat here. So no need to start also a Teams meeting or a Zoom meeting to listen to others. You can interact with those, and I can even interact with the system right from here. I can change the direction, and that direction is going to be shown here. As you can see, the product, let me move around. I even move around better in VR. So as you can see, I can interact with it here and change the direction, or from here. And the difference between simulating and emulating is that this is not only going to function the same way as the real machinery does, it's going to emulate every little detail. So whenever everything goes wrong, if I want to just change the direction here, you are going to see how the elements go the other way and they are going to start falling. And this is going to be emulated as well in the web. Isn't it amazing? I really love this. And again, watching this in VR is one of the greatest things that you can do. And this opens a really huge potential in the digital twin sector and save costs, save probably injuries and lives that may happen when everything malfunctions in a factory. So this allows to prevent you and even improve your performance inside a factory. So these were the 4 apps that I want to show you today. So let's close Simumatic here for a bit. I'm going to check if there's already some comments or questions. If you have any, please feel free to ask. I think we're fine today, or you can save it for the end, because now I'm going to show you VIROO Studio, right? We have like 15 minutes or 20 minutes if you want to stay with me. But I'm going to show you how to create these amazing apps. Of course, I have a little bit amount of time, so I'm going to show you some basic interactions, but how if you invest some time doing these kind of interactions, you can create these applications that you have just seen. I'm not a programmer myself, so everything that I'm going to do right now is no need to know any programming knowledge or language. You don't have to open Visual Studio or anything like that. So let's jump right into VIROO Studio. What exactly is VIROO Studio? VIROO Studio is a Unity project that we provide. It's free. You can download it from our website. And if you are a developer, you will see right away the benefits that it provides, because we included some predefined components that are going to make all the networking and the multi-device capabilities work right away. So you just need to focus on create your content. So let's start with some basic interactions to see the examples and all the potential that this has. I have here a 3D model of a car, a Toyota Prius car that I downloaded from the web. This is a free model, so its detail maybe it's not the highest detailed 3D model ever, because if you want more detailed models, you will need to create those yourself or even purchase. This is just for free. This is just for the sake of this demo. But the good thing about it is that its hierarchy, it's really complex. That means it has every single part of the card separate, so I can interact with it with all the model, or I can just select even the door and move it around. What this means is that imagine I want to create a demo that I can interact with this card to showcase some of its functionalities. I can go part by part, and if I want to open the door, I just need to create an action that is going to allow me to rotate that door. So let's show you how to do that. So the first thing would be to dress a little bit this 3D model. For that, if you have ever used Unity, you know how to create different materials. This is really simple. Let me create a new material for you to see. I just need to right click here. I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to give it a name, in this case test, because I already created the other. And whenever I have created a material, I have here a preview of the material itself. So if I go to the albedo, I can change its color. And in this case, this is red. And to apply it to a 3D model, I just need to do this, okay? So if I want to change the color of the car, I just need to create my material. I even have like glass material, so they are translucent. And I will need to invest some time in order to create this 3D model. In this case, let me leave it like that. Let's do this one, the test model here, just to have this side of the card already prepared. So how would I need to do if I want to create an action that is going to be later deployable in VIROO? So in this case, I'm going to open this prefab. A prefab is like a game object that has been prepared in some specific way. And if you don't open the prefab, you are not going to be able to change its hierarchy. So all the children and father game objects are going to be static. So in this case, I need to open that. I'm going to unpack completely. And why I'm going to do that? Because imagine that I want to interact with this door. I need to create an interaction that whenever I use my controller and press the trigger when aiming at the door, I want to rotate it. But what happens here with this specific model? So whenever I try to rotate it, it's not rotating the way I want, not as expected, right? Because the pivot point of this door is in the center. This happens sometimes. So whenever we encounter this kind of problem, we developers here in Unity, we create an empty game object to use that as a pivot point. Let me show you how that works. I'm going to create a game object here. I'm going to call it pivot. And now I can move this invisible game object here to the pivot point of the door. And now if I put it away from the door and put the door as a children of that, whenever I move the door is going to move normally. But if I move the pivot, or in this case, rotate the pivot, is going to behave exactly as I want. So now I virtually change the pivot of my 3D model. So what I need to do as well is just to put the side mirror here and the glass of the window. So whenever I move all the pivot, all the elements of the door are going to rotate as well. But this is just a preview. This is not an action that I've just created. So let's see how to actually create that action. So I need to select the object I want to interact this. In this case, it's going to be the door because it's the bigger element, and I just need to, for me, it's natural to point at the door and press the trigger in order to open it, or I can even touch it if I want. But I need to add a specific component, which is a collider. A collider is a component that once added to the game object is going to create like a shield that is going to detect invisible rays coming out from my controller, and whenever I press the trigger, it's going to allow me to launch any kind of events I want. In this case, a rotate action. So now that I have the mesh collider, I'm going to add a component, and if you again are used to use Unity, you know what the XR interaction toolkit is. In this case, I'm going to use the XR Simple Interactable. The XR Interactable toolkit is almost a standard right now. We implemented this in VIROO 2.6, so now we embrace the OpenXR and the XR interaction toolkit from Unity. So if you are a Unity developer, you are going to feel right at home. You are not going to be learning a wholly new interaction system to work with. So I just need to add this component, and this is going to allow me to launch an event whenever I activate this component. And whenever I activate, again, is whenever I press the trigger. But I need to create this action, and this is where the VIROO components jump in. In this case, these are all the predefined components that Unity includes, but as you can see here, we have a VIROO folder. I'm going to put this in full screen so you can see it better. We have here a VIROO folder, and this is going to include almost all the components that you may need in order to create your apps. So if you are not a programmer, if you don't know how to code, you probably just need to go here and start selecting whatever you may want. In this case, I'm going to search for actions. This is all the actions that we have prepared, and this list is growing and growing every year whenever we detect new needs. And in this case, I'm going to select the rotate action. The rotate action is really simple to configure. The only thing I need to do is to specify the system what is the game object, or which is the game object I want to rotate. In this case, is the pivot. That's why I created the pivot. I want to rotate this object, and I'm going to need to specify the angle. So to do that, I can do it visually. I just need to go to my pivot. I can rotate it just by here. I can copy its angles from here because they are changing in real time, as you can see, their values. So I'm going to press Ctrl C. I'm going to go back to my rotate action here. If you have never used Unity, I can know that this can be a little bit overwhelming, but believe me, for people that are using Unity, these kind of interactions are going to be really useful because they don't have to worry about the networking, and it's just going to work, and it's really simple. It's just a drag and drop system. So again, I am going to check the reverse after play checkbox. This means that whenever I interact with my game object, is going to go back to its original place. So the door is going to close basically. And then I'm going to specify a time, 3 seconds. And I'm going to, for not be a non-natural animation, I'm going to put it an ease in an in and an out. So it's going to start moving fast and then slowing fast. So it's a more natural animation. So basically, now that I have configured my rotate action, what I need to do is in this in this field, in the activate field, I just drag and drop my door, go to the rotate action component and select local execute. This is going to, again, whenever I interact with my door using my controller, I want to launch an action that is going to be a rotate action. So if everything went well, we are going to test it out. This could take a while whenever you press play in Unity. If it's the first time, it's going to take a while to load. Next times are going to be much faster, but in this case, I'm sharing my screen again. I'm using Unity. I have the VIROO Simumatic app platform running in behind, so this could take a little bit of time, but let's see how it works. And you are going to see how easy it is to create this content, because once you know how to create these actions that are really simple, if you combine those and apply some time, invest some time in creating this content, you are going to be able to create a step-by-step process and really powerful apps. So let's see how this went. In this case, now I have my car here. I can move around, and as you can see, I know that the interaction is working because the pointer is turning blue. Whenever I enter my door, the pointer is turning blue, and if I press play, the door is going to magically open. And again, if I press it again, it's going to take exact 3 seconds that I specified before, and I can now jump inside my car. And again, if you see this in VR, it's a really, really different way to interact with things. So this is basically how to create a small interaction. Let's see if I have time to create another one and then an end result that I have prepared, because I knew that I won't be able to create many more scenes. So another cool thing that I can do is, imagine that I want to create some lights in order to turn on the front lights of the car. So I can select the lights here, and I'm going to create inside of those a new element that is going to be here, light. Let me search for the light here. I don't know what light here. Okay, so a spotlight, and let's see how this is pointed at the front. I'm going to increase the intensity. I can change even the color of the light, maybe a Shannon one, a little more blue, more modern style, and then I can place it wherever I want in this case, and I can even duplicate it and put it right away. So now I have like different lights for the front lights of my car, but I don't want them to be activated from the start. So what I can do is just, I can create a new game object which is going to be lights, and then I'm going to put those lights inside here. And this game object, whenever I activate or deactivate, is going to turn on the lights of the car. Okay, so it's going to be deactivated by default, but whenever I interact with it, I want to access that component and activate it. Let's see how this works. So again, if you pay attention to the interaction before, we just need to go and add an XR simple interactable, and then we just need to go here to the activate, and I'm going to drag and drop the lights object. I'm going to access its game object component, and it's going to select set active bool. And even I'm going to create an action whenever I want to deactivate, and you are going to see what is going to allow me to do this. Game object, set active bool, and let's see if this works. I need to be ensure that my front lights have a collider. In this case, I think they don't. So remember, whenever you want to interact with it, with something, you need to add a collider, because the ray needs to contact with anything in order to launch these events. So let's see if this works, and we will end by showing more interactions that I prepared before. And then I will read the comments if there are any, and show the end result. Okay, so let's see if this works. In this case, I'm going to interact with it. Again, the interaction is working, and whenever I press play, or my trigger in this case, as you can see, the lights are turning on. This is what allowed me, whenever when I activated the deactivate action, this is going to allow me with just one action to activate or deactivate my lights, or leave it activated if I want. So as you can see, this is really, really simple, and let me just end showing you what I have prepared before. So I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to import Toyota Prius prefab that I have from before. This is a more prepared environment. I'm going to press play and you are going to see a couple of more interactions that I have here and different ways that you can launch these actions. Let's jump in full screen here. As you can see, it's taking less time to load right now. And the good thing about this, I have here a stand. So whenever I activate this, I have these different buttons that are going to allow me to interact with my car. So I can activate the lights the same way I've done before. Okay, I can activate it, deactivate it, leave it turning on. I can interact with the door and open it from a distance. I can open the bonnet, or I can deactivate my buttons and I can again interact directly with the car. Interact directly with the lights, and I have here two more actions that you have just not seen. The first one is that we can even play whatever media we want inside our environment. So if you have any videos or any images, it's really easy to put it inside Unity and launch it with VIROO, and every user in the session is going to see this. And the last thing, which is the thing I like the most about VR, is grabbing things. Because one of the best things about VR is giving you the freedom to reach objects and move it around. I'm using now the keyboard and mouse, which is not ideal, but this in VR is really cool because, as you've seen in the clinical case example, I can move the objects, see it from any perspective, and I can even prepare the action so whenever a user stops grabbing an object, it's going to return to its original place in the matter of seconds that I specified before. So, I know it's a lot of information, but I wanted to show you some of the VIROO apps that we have developed that if you are planning to integrate XR into your company, that maybe you should in 2025, probably is late if you are not integrating XR, because this is the next frontier in interaction. And we have a catalog of apps that are already ready to use. So you just purchase a license, select the app that you want and start using it. Or if you want some custom content, you can always create it in Unity and you don't have to be an expert to do it. Again, I'm not a programmer. I just learned the basics of Unity. And as you can see, I didn't code anything. I didn't open VIROO Studio. I didn't write any code in C# or anything like that. It's just a drag and drop system using our predefined components. But if you are a programmer and you know how to code, you can always use your custom coding. This is really cool because you can create using our VIROO interaction system with your custom code, or even with a Unity visual, I don't know how to do it. Visual coding, it's visual scripting that Unity has, sorry about that. So you can combine those three, and I will make a specific webinar to showcase the visual scripting because that's really powerful, even for people that doesn't know how to code. So I think this is all that I had for you today. So I'm going to read the comments that are right now, and then we will leave it. And if you want to reach me apart from this, you can do it. And again, remember that this webinar is going to be uploaded to YouTube probably tomorrow. So you can always watch it if you couldn't join for this demo today. So Edgar Espinal asks, is hand tracking an available feature? Yes, it is. It's available with HTC and with Quest. I can even show you here. Let me share my screen. I'm not going to be able to show you using my headset right now because it's in the other side. But whenever you select VR headset, you can select if it's disabled. If you want to use an Ultraleap, which is a hardware device that provides you with infrared sensors, or if you want to embrace the OpenXR tracking. So yes, you can use hand tracking in those headsets that support OpenXR tracking. That's a really good question. Thanks for asking. And for some kind of interactions, hands are preferable because they allow you to communicate with others in a more natural way, and there are some interactions that are pretty basic and you don't need the precision that the controllers give you. The good thing is that you can combine both. If you have activate the hand tracking, you can still use your controller, so that's good. So again, let's just see if there's any other question. If not, for my part, that's everything that I had for you today. I hope this is useful for you and you have a chance to see how good our apps are and how it can solve different problems inside your organization. And the good thing is that if they are not, you can always use VIROO Studio and create content really fast, really easily, then upload your applications to the cloud, and deploy them inside your organization pretty fast and create multi-user, multi-device sessions. Edgar again has a question. Is there an on-prem option? Yes, there is. This is one of our main advantages, that not all platforms support on-prem option. If you don't want your content to be uploaded to the cloud, we have different ways in order to deploy it. You can deploy it in the cloud that normally use, which I think is Amazon Web Services or Azure, depending on the state. You can use your own cloud if you already have contract your cloud with any of these providers. But if you don't want to be connected to the internet, we have clients that are using on-prem option, of course. Yeah. So again, thanks everyone again for joining. It was a pleasure. I will make another webinar in a month, and we will see our other apps, other ways to create content with VIROO, and I hope that you really embrace XR and integrate those in your industries and sectors and companies really soon. Thank you everyone for joining, and see you in next webinars. Bye bye.